You know, Mr. Graham, what's the point of writing a really good show if you can't deliver the fucking lines?
Well, that's true.
I apologize.
That's why I choose to not write lines. That's like off the cuff shit, you know?
Well, I fucking...
Yabba dabba do.
Let's face it, that was not an easy show to write, and I somehow wrote a really good show. Would be really good if I said the words correctly, but I didn't.
I didn't notice.
Yeah. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL, a completely biased brief recap of the rest of the English football and the fifth round of the FA Cup is told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, I see back in full pone, not down and crazy.
Not full pone. Not full pone.
Okay.
Got the old bun. Old bun working.
I like the bun.
Thank you.
Wouldn't you call it then a pun? Because it's the pone bun.
It's not a pone.
See?
Pone is dangly hair.
Not a dad can rip out dad jokes.
I know you
My
have-
co-host, Mr. Sammy Graham. How are you doing, Mr. Graham?
You're not getting away with that. I'm not letting you get away with it.
It's fine.
Now I'm doing horribly.
Yeah, okay.
I was doing okay until you did that.
I'm like, pone. It's two totally different mouths.
I wish I had a different mouth in the moment.
I wish my wife had a different fucking mouth. And on the ones and twos, my lovely bride, producer Mel. How you doing over there, producer Mel?
I'm doing phone. I mean fun.
See the difference, Sam? You should do better.
We're recording at the U Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
It's very easy, actually. At DU Football Show on all the social medias, and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
Very good, very good.
Or dufootballshow.com. Some weird shit, whatever your mouth does over there. Hey, I've never been more scared of, what that mouth do. You could be like cannibalism. And I'd be like, oh no, I thought he was going to say head. It's different.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and
teeth.
spirit industry and both have a deep passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So is the red-blooded Americans we are. We've had a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. And we are actually doing a drink today.
We are.
What are we doing, Mr. Graham?
My heart goes out to you is what I like to call it.
Heard.
This is a Moscow Mule. It is Moscow Mule Day in the United States.
Moscow mole?
Moscow Mule Week.
Mule.
Moscow Mole.
Mule mole. See, it's that those vowels keep fucking with us.
Yeah, it's different. Cannibalism and head are seemingly two different words. The only difference is teeth.
But they're so close together.
I know.
Yeah.
It's bad. This is a Moscow Mule. It is a combination of vodka, ginger beer, and lime.
Yeah, nice and simple.
Very easy. Served in a copper mug, typically.
Yes.
Here we go. There's that. Because that's all they can mine in Russia besides oil
Data.
and
data
and memes.
Well, producer Mel, you might as well unmute yourself. Note the copper mugs are in the hands of both producer Mel and Mr. Graham while I am drinking out of a glass. The reason why I am doing that is because what's the line I always use, Melissa?
Fuck off, I'm charming.
Yeah.
Get away from me, whore. Why are you bothering me? Why are you speaking to me?
This is like the adult version. When they ask the kids, like, what does mommy say all the time? And they're like, stop fighting. This is the adult version of that.
Get out of the bathroom, I'm busy.
As I've said multiple times,
That's good, that.
the good cups are for talent. And after my last effort, I clearly don't deserve a good cup.
Well done. Well done. Way to still be.
That is why I'm drinking out of a glass.
Way to
not
still.
a copper mug.
Way to still be self-deprecating after we absolutely rinsed you. I'm proud of that.
That's where I was going the whole time.
Very proud of you. Well done.
Because I am a pro fucking professional.
Obviously, we do not support Russia in any way, shape, or form in their aggression against the Ukraine. Want you to know
America.
this is an American invention, but because it used vodka, they called it Russian or Moscow.
Right.
You know,
What type of vodka did we use?
We used Hollow, which is based
made
out
in
of
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, York,
Yeah,
PA.
good old
Yeah.
American vodka.
And
vodka.
and
I
it
can't say-
was
How do you say it American way? Grain alcohol with potato flavoring.
so the
Nope.
It's not that.
the
I'll tell you
original
that.
recipe was made with Smirnoff, and at that time Smirnoff was a Russian vodka. But as most of us know, essentially Diageo traded Coca-Cola for, well, it wasn't Diageo because Diageo ultimately bought Smirnoff, but essentially Coca-Cola traded with Russia. They got Smirnoff, and Smirnoff started being made in America, and Coca-Cola got to go be made in Russia.
For a Russian.
Right.
A very similar story. Pepsi syrup was traded for Stolichnaya distribution rights.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
they would send over the syrup, and all they had to do was get the guns.
Yep.
In Russia, Coke made in you. That's all I got.
Jesus.
That's it. Give him back the fucking mug. Let's get into the action.
You can mute again.
Championship corner.
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
Sam, it was a step too far. That.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
That's it. She and the guy, this whole thing worked out. Did not execute at all.
No. See, not so fucking easy, is it? Wearing the crown, is it now?
Fuck's sake! Here we go with this "woe is me" shit again. Man, I'm gonna go over the bottle of wine. Fuck to go with that cheese. No, I'm gonna go over the cheese to go with that wine. Fuck. Something.
Mr. Graham, again I say, not easy wearing the fucking crown, is it, bitch?
Give us your mug too.
Both of you.
Hey, but what did Dennis say?
Both of you guys give me your mugs. I'm double fisting it talent over here.
Look like old Donnie Boy.
No shit.
Roman. Putin. Roman Abramovich. Putin. Oh, brilliant.
Very good. The lead at the top is back to 3 as Leeds drew West Brom and the Blades beat QPR. One thing worth noting, Wednesday has kind of fallen out of the playoff talk. They're now all the way into 12 after losing to Sunderland, making that 3 losses in a row, and they are 4 of their last 5 they have lost.
That's not good.
Luton got a huge win. They won 1-0 over Pompey.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous to me. That made me so mad I saw that. I bet on that game as well. Pompey don't have great away form, obviously.
But Pompey are also very safe right now.
But
for the most
Luton
part.
are so bad.
Yeah, well, Luton-
This is like that Fulham thing I talked about. Fucking raise yourself. This is a chance to further distance yourself from them cunts down there.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
You have to figure that out, and they just didn't do it.
Yeah, but it seems that they should be okay as long as they don't have a major dip in form. But really, it's between Luton, Plymouth, Derby, and Hull City. It's 3 of those 4 are going to probably ultimately go down.
I want Pompey to be so safe.
Yeah.
Like sooner rather than later.
Agreed.
Because Southampton, we know for sure, are going down.
Oh, yeah.
And we all want it. We all want to see it 2 times next season.
Yep.
On pay your fucking $5, $6, whatever it is.
Paramount Plus, not ESPN.
It doesn't matter. Get the app, whatever it is. So $8.99, I think Paramount is now. Whatever it is, fucking pay it for these 2 games.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
worth it. Like, we have to have this. And the longer Pompey leave it, the more I get nervous. It's called the Pompey Highway for a fucking reason.
Right, exactly.
And it makes me nervous until they've secured it. Like, I just get it over the line, man. Just get it done.
League One saw Birmingham City beat Wycombe 1-0. They extended their lead at the top to 12 points. Wrexham drew at Bolton and now sit only 2 points behind second place. So, yeah,
I like
that
it.
going there.
I like it.
Charlton beat the O's and jumped them to go into the playoffs, along with Bolton with their draw, moved into 7th. So the O's and Reading sit just a point back for the final playoff spot.
I like that as well. It looks very exciting at the top of League One. Obviously, we want Wrexham to do well. There's a huge storyline there. There's we saw shared more than once in the DUFC group on Facebook. Was the new selling of the kits by Rob and McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
And it might have worked on me.
Yeah.
I might buy one.
Yeah.
It was a very good ad.
Yeah,
I might buy one.
Ad.
Yeah.
Oh. So, yeah, so that's where it all kind of sits. I think we'd like to see Wrexham get the automatic promotion, to be honest. I mean, Wycombe went up before, and Wycombe also promptly went right the fuck back down.
I would love fucking Wrexham and Leyton Orient to go up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wouldn't mind if Bolton make the playoffs. I wouldn't mind seeing Bolton get back up.
Same. I also wouldn't mind Reading going back up because their owner's been such a cunt bag that I think the fans deserve something positive out of the shit they've been through.
Agreed.
But at the same token, like I said, it's for me, it's more about Leyton Orient. It's more about even Wycombe to an extent. It's more about Charlton coming back would be cool to see. Like there's a lot of teams there that I would like to see come back up. And
Huddersfield's right in the thick of it too. They pretty much have secured a playoff spot, but they're going to be having to play their way up.
Yeah, so I'm not actually too kind of pissed off about the teams that are there or thereabouts. I really want Leyton Orient and Wrexham to be in the conversation at the very least.
Walsall's lead at the top of League Two has dwindled a little bit after dropping 5 points over the last week. At the bottom, Accy lost over the weekend, but did beat Tranmere in the midweek, and they now sit 7 points safe over Morecambe,
Shrimps out.
And Carlisle, both on 26 points.
But again, I don't want to see Tranmere go down, which I don't think they're actually in the
they're right
for.
They are there.
It's Accy.
Well, no, it is Carlisle, Morecambe, Tranmere, Accy.
Yeah. So I want both of them to stay up.
Yeah.
Liverpool needs a proper representative in the Football League.
Of course they do.
And then, obviously, Accy, we have our very obvious and very biased affinity towards Accrington Stanley. The Leyton Orient of the North is
also one of the
who's that? Yeah.
Also one of the also one of the original 12.
Right.
Never want to see an original 12 go out.
No, fuck no. So obviously we're going to try to get in touch with Ben by the end of the season, I hope.
Yeah,
because they've had a tough go of it, and you want that to kind of dissipate. And losing over the weekend is not good.
Alrighty, now what we really all care about.
Yeah, now this is what we came for.
Let's get on to the 5th round of the FA Cup. Villa 2, Cardiff 0, Preston 3, Burnley 0, Palace 3, Millwall 1, Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1, 5-4 to Bournemouth on penalties. Manchester City 3, Plymouth 1, Brighton 2, Newcastle 1.
I was going to say, hold on, I'm sorry. You missed a spot in that Bournemouth-Wolves game.
Uh-huh.
It was also Cunha, 7 points.
So
in the 3rd round.
So we're gonna talk about that when we get to the game. Let me finish saying.
I was just trying to get the
Fulham 1, Manchester United 1
score.
4-3 to Fulham on penalties. Forest 1, Ipswich 1, 5-4 to Forest on penalties. Exactly what we expected from Cardiff and Villa. Cardiff packed it in and tried to play
make
for
it
penalties.
difficult. Yeah.
And they never really got a chance. And late on, I think it was like the 78th and the 85th or something like that.
What are you going to do when you're away from home, right? I mean, they try to be pragmatic. They try to change their game plan to suit the situation that they're in. I mean, you would expect them to do nothing different necessarily. Would it have been fun for them to do something different? Absolutely. But, like Plymouth did against City.
Right.
But they didn't. So it was the most predictable result of the weekend for me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And there'll be a bit of a theme because this is one of those teams that is in and around Europe. This is a way to get into Europe. Because, frankly, only City left. And it's a whole lot of teams that are in and around that chance of Europe. And we're going to be talking about every single one of them.
Yep.
Preston North End is the kind of team that never is going to get relegated, but is never going to contend for promotion. They are consistently the most boring team in all of the championship. And it's, I guarantee you there are fans of the championship that are going, really?
But that's my team.
Preston's in the fucking quarterfinals? Like,
Yeah.
that's the championship side that made it? Like, them? Huh? You know? And the goals did not matter. Trafford did not play in this game. In fact, a kind of fun thing, Trafford and one other Burnley player sat in the away stands with the all the supporters.
Oh,
they were
nice.
right in the thick of it with them, singing the songs and all the silliness.
I have to look back at the actual tweet exchange, but I think the distinction was made, give up the goals in the league anyway for the bet.
Right.
Well, this obviously isn't the league, is it? It's the FA Cup.
Right.
So
It's,
wouldn't have mattered, even if he did play,
Yeah.
I think. But again, I have to look back and check.
I would say a bit of a surprise, but also now Burnley can just focus on trying to get promoted. You know, that's
And
really
they
what
will.
it comes down to.
And they're, despite what he did at Bournemouth and the later stages at Fulham, Scott Parker seems to know what he's doing here.
Right.
Seems to have put this together brilliantly.
Yeah, agreed. Now on to Crystal Palace and Millwall. Holy red card, Batman.
I mean, it wasn't very late into the match, was it? Was it 8 minutes on the clock, I think?
You were talking about it in parting words on the main show, but here's kind of what I really kind of get into it more. Michael Oliver is dead on less than 10 yards away. Nobody blocking his view.
Yep.
Looking right at a goalkeeper who is in the air. His entire lower half of his body is at
above
least
the waist.
is at shoulder level with Mateta.
True, yeah.
Like his back dangling foot is maybe chest level.
Nipple height.
Like it is, you can see all the fucking 8-9 spikes in his cleats, and you can see it going right into his face. Into his fucking face. And Michael Oliver pulls a yellow card, and then VAR takes 6 fucking minutes. 6. Clear and obvious. Please just try to, all those words make me so fucking angry, especially when you see some shit like this.
So I can understand the I got the ball argument to the yellow card. The point that I'm more angry at is Michael Oliver didn't stop the game until the ball went out of play. You clearly saw there was a head injury, and you were under very clear instructions. One of the only pieces of instruction that seems the referees have taken to wholeheartedly in general is the stopping of play for a head injury. And it took him a good 90 seconds to actually stop the game for the injury.
Yeah.
When Mateta's ear was dangling half off his head, potentially, when his eye looked probably 10 times worse than mine does right now. It's absurd refereeing. And it speaks to the point, again, we've said time and time again, other shows have referenced time and time again, referees have just taken a step back and go, VAR will sort this out.
Oh.
If it's wrong, VAR will sort it out. And they've stopped refereeing the game on the field.
How?
And it's just not, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
How you can't look at that immediately blow your whistle, immediately stop play.
Yep.
It doesn't even matter if he hit him in the head or not.
Oh, it does.
Well,
That's a rule.
Well, I'm talking about what I'm about to say is that player is in such a clearly unnatural, completely wrong position.
Mm-hmm.
No football player should ever be 4 feet in the air with their feet out, their spikes out, looking like a kung fu movie, like going through with a karate kick. Like, I mean,
Eric Cantona would have something to say about that.
And you got a red card for it.
He got a long, hefty ban for that as well.
How can you not look at and not instantaneously know, even if you need to take a second and figure it all out, to not go, blow your whistle and go, that's fucking wrong.
Something here
That
is
is
not
fucking
great.
wrong.
Something great's not happened. Like I said, I can understand a hesitation with getting the ball first, right? But the head injury, you have to blow the whistle.
Yeah.
You have to blow the whistle. You want VAR to sort it out. That's kind of the culture now. VAR will sort it out for me. I don't have to make a decision. But you have to blow for the head injury.
Right. But
This is
right.
people's lives, man. And literally, the doctor that operated on Mateda's side of his head said out loud in a press conference not a press conference, but in a statement when giving an update on Jean-Philippe Mateta, said that had this been millimeters to the left, could have ended his career because he could have been blind in his left eye.
Yeah.
Could have been dead if it hit his temple.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot of different things. So there is such a concern and such a brief that is going out to everyone about the head injuries, and that pisses me off more than getting the decision wrong. You didn't stop play, and this guy is clearly in fucking agony.
Yeah.
It's abhorrent. Now, you should also, as a qualified referee, be able to look at that and go, that's probably red, isn't it? VAR will sort it out the other way if it isn't.
Right.
So take the stand and ref the game. And he chose not to.
How can't you look at that and immediately go, that's just no? Like, a player should never be that. Never.
But like, you think of Paulo Di Canio's goal, back in the day on the far side, ball got crossed over from the right and he kind of karate kicked it into the far corner, back across the face of goal. His boot ended up around someone's face, but there was nobody within 5 yards. So fine. No big deal. It's not dangerous play because there's no one there. If nothing else, it's dangerous play. Right? It's endangering the welfare of an opponent. It's a lot of different things that should have been fucking called or thought about or done, and he just went, VAR will do it. Where you should be refereeing the game,
and you're supposed to be
and
England's
VAR
top
will
official.
fix it if you fuck up.
You're supposed to be England's top official, quote unquote. Like, come on.
But he's y'all cried conspiracy theory when he fucked Arsenal a couple times for way far less than this.
Well, Liverpool now cares because Everton got a draw.
But look at what he did.
Yeah.
It's absurd, man. He holds the biggest part of the blame of this incident.
Oh, absolutely.
But you then very quickly have to shift your attention, and we talked about it in parting words on the main show. But you have to look at the Millwall fans. And some of the chants, like you said, there was some racist stuff floating about. There was the "Let him bleed out" chant that was going on. It was like, what are you guys on? This is a human being.
Yeah.
And he's in a pile on the floor at the moment.
Yeah.
As a result of your goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So fucking have some humanity, man.
So trying to turn a little bit of attention to the actual
fucking
game.
Yuck.
To the game itself. Tandanga didn't have himself a very good first half now, did he?
No. He sure didn't.
a own goal and essentially an assist for the second goal.
It was not. It was a less than ideal showing, I'd say. It was one that you go, you wash your face, and you fucking don't pick up a newspaper for a week.
Just don't.
You don't turn the news on. You don't do any of those things.
The Landon Donovan commercial of, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
On the World
I
Cup?
didn't even play at the weekend.
I was on the World Cup squad. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? I wasn't on the
I
World Cup
wasn't even
squad.
there this weekend. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it never
Own
happened.
goal.
Palace didn't play great, but they figured out a way to get a win. But also, one might say they were a little fucking rattled, considering somebody got their fucking head kicked off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
And you could see it did visibly disturb a few of those players.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I haven't seen, honestly, and again, everybody always talks about fucking, me bringing Arsenal up. This happened when Ryan Shawcross broke Eduardo's leg. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing a fairly young Cesc Fabregas going like this on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Down to 10 men. I'm pretty sure in that game, Stoke got a draw.
Right.
Because the Arsenal players, after seeing Eduardo's leg fucking dangling off of its fucking, line, just couldn't think, couldn't operate. And I've not seen anyone more visibly upset since that incident until now. There was a couple players
the Joe Theismann leg break where the man who broke his leg, Lawrence Taylor, jumped up and started waving for stretchers the minute it fucking happened. Like,
Yeah.
he was fucking affected by it.
like you saw the players, they're just like, oh fuck, oh no, help, come do things.
Yeah.
I mean, the antithesis to that in terms of a positive response was Denmark in the Euros when Christian Eriksen died. Obviously, that day, and then came back to life. I hope again.
Yeah.
They rallied. Both sets of supporters were brilliant surrounding that incident. That's how you should act when something bad happens.
Yeah.
Not the way the Millwall supporters did. And the players, you can understand, obviously are upset. So, honestly, Palace did very well to gather themselves and then go on and get the win.
So 3 really big key points between Bournemouth and Wolves, and it'll sandwich in the middle will be the meat that you want to discuss, Mr. Graham. But the first thing to mention is
it's very simple, just kind of Stella.
Sam Johnstone was fucking incredible in this match.
Yeah, he did.
He's
He did
saving
very well.
Shit off the line. Like, this game should have never gotten to penalties. Bournemouth should have wiped the floor with them. And Johnston played fucking incredible, which is good because he came in. He was supposed to replace Saw. He didn't do a very good job. Saw started playing again. So Johnston starting to build into the role. You have to assume he's their keeper next year. So that's good to see him kind of step into that role and do that.
When Sa's been in this season, he hasn't been very good either. He's been making a boatload of mistakes. Completely
my
fair.
goodness, yes.
But with Cunha, just in general, scored a absolutely cracker of a goal. Mm-hmm. Fucking brilliant goal that he scored. That ultimately won't matter because they lost on penalties. But you look at his celebration. He was almost angry in the celebration.
Right.
It looked like he was telling somebody off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when you fast forward to what happened later on and him obviously getting his red card, you wonder if he's just cracking under the pressure.
Could be.
Is it our entire season rests on you basically performing because Strand Larsen's hurt, but you've given him 65% of the assists for the goals that he's scored. So without you, he's a 4-goal striker.
Right.
Ait-Nouri, kind of same way. He showed a bit more composure, obviously. Kind of lifting the team up after the miss of the penalty and some of those things.
Right.
He kind of, was trying to rally, but very obviously their second best player this season behind Cunha. But so much rests on Cunha's shoulders for this city, for this, this team, this everything else. You wonder if he's just falling apart under the pressure mentally, because, I mean, grabbing a guy's glasses off his face is a fucking dick move. Mm-hmm. It's a weird response to being held back or manhandled and shown the exit door. It's a very odd thing to do. To then turn around and behave in this way towards a fellow professional and another player, with essentially an assault.
Pulled like what we like to call a kudos.
He
did essentially the same thing. He kicked him. He swung at him. He headbutted him. He did
all the things.
All the fucking things.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got a game or two added on to the end of the red card.
Talking with a whole lot of Wolf boys, it's looking like it could be a 5-game suspension.
Yeah.
Here are their next 5 games: home to Everton, at Southampton, home to West Ham, at Ipswich, home to Tottenham. Those next 4 games are of dire importance for them to stay up. Absolute dire importance. And he just got a red card, and a serious red card that could very well put them in the drop.
It could derail their season.
I don't think it will.
Well, because that also relies on Ipswich and Leicester getting their shit together, and I don't think they will either.
Won't. But it is the most, and when we were talking about the preview of the game, I was like, it's all about Cunha. Like, that's the story. It's not my team. Like, I went on and talked more about their team than my team. Like,
well, I told you in my bet, right?
Yeah.
It's all about Cunha.
Yeah.
Without Cunha, how are they going to hurt you?
Right.
I don't see it.
I mean,
that's
we're
why
tired. We're thin. I said it's going to be 1-0, maybe 1-1, and honestly, maybe Wolves get the win because they're at home and they're fighting off relegation. Yeah. But it's impossible to figure out. But in this match, going now to the pens, right? Because here's the other thing: you're now missing a guy that would have been taking a pen, probably the 5th pen. Mm-hmm. The pen that Daughtry missed to win the fucking game.
Yep.
It would have been Cunha. He would have made it. They would have fucking advanced.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it.
Well,
there's no doubt about it. And she's just doing her thing.
I thought she was waving at us to say something.
No.
Okay.
Just enjoying her pen, just chilling, doing her
fine.
thing. Just doing what she do. Here's what I found very interesting in those penalties, Sam. Bournemouth's penalty style, like they did that like kind of quick kick against Everton, and all of them were a little cheeky with every single one of those penalties. And Mel and I were watching it, and I was like, Johnson's going to get the timing down. They're being a little too fucking cute, and he's going to get to 1. He's going to get to 1.
One guy did it with his hands on his hips.
Yeah. Well, the one
his hands on his hips.
that was the Denga one where he had his hands on his hips and he looked down and it looked like he was taking a step back and then just immediately kicked it. Like just whoop, whoop. You're like, what the fuck was that?
That's right.
But
it fucked him.
Well, I mean, he made that one, but then the 5th one, the 5th one, Johnston saved, and all Daughtry had to do was put it away, and he put it wide, and then that ended up being it. And
we saw the same sort of penalty from Anthony Robinson in Fulham's game, right? It's one of those, how can I get one over on somebody? And, everybody has a run-up. Everybody does this. But the referee blows his whistle, and then most players take their step back after the whistle's blown.
Right.
Right? So this was all right, you think I'm doing this? Bang, I'm going to try to do that instead.
Yeah.
And it came off. It's a game of margins. It's a game of inches. It's a game of, mind games and all that kind of stuff.
4 of them came off perfectly. But the problem is you keep doing that kind of stuff,
and something's going to eventually.
Keeper,
yep.
I'm getting your timing down. I know what you're starting to do. All I got to do is pick
You very
right
obviously
once.
practice this.
Yeah. All I got to do is pick right once. I'm going to get to one. I will get to one. You might make me look like a fool for 4. Guess what? It's penalties. You're supposed to. But I'm getting to one, and he did his job.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame Daughtry for missing it. I blame Cunha for not being on the pitch to make it.
Mm-hmm.
That's ultimately what it is.
Fair enough.
You know what? Plymouth decided, fuck it. We're going to go ahead and take a swing at the champ.
They did.
They went for it.
They took the lead.
For it. They went for it.
They took the lead and they held out for about 14 minutes or something.
And they just.
But City scored at the worst time. City scored right before halftime.
Yep.
Kind of deflates them like, oh fuck, they're we
and there it
defending a 1-0 lead would be something.
Yeah.
And then it did not take long after halftime.
And they took a couple more tries and they went for it. And you know what? Great story for Plymouth to get that far, considering their run was at Brentford, home to the best team in fucking football, and then at the building of a team that's recently won a treble and has won the last 5 Premier League titles.
Yeah.
You know what? Good on you. Good on you, Plymouth. Let's see if this propels you out of the bottom.
They did very well.
Yeah.
They gave a good account of themselves. They had chances as well to make it 3-2.
Yep. Newcastle Brighton, double red cards later on. Really? The one that hurts, though? Because the Lamptey one, fine, 2 yellows, get a red. That shit happens.
It happens. Yeah, it happens to every defender from time to time.
Gordon's is bad.
It's stupid.
Just taking a swing at a guy's head.
It's bad because it's so stupid. It's, you have this massive game in your history coming up in the League Cup final.
You're out of the League Cup final now.
know there's a chance that Isak might not make it because he didn't play midweek.
Yeah, they need you.
They need you. They need you. And you decide to lose your head for a minute. You decide to have a rush of blood. Mm-hmm. And you've now massively put your team under the caution, basically just handed Liverpool the first of a potential 3 trophies.
Yep. We finally got to see the technology that the rest of the world has been using for offsides finally being used.
Yeah, well, they still had to draw the lines after the fact.
Right. But you also then see how very, very wrong the offside rule is. Fabian Schär's hand cannot score the goal. Cannot score the goal. Because
so the rule is it has to be a part of your body that you can score with, that you can legally play the ball with. That's
I think
offsides.
it was like that much of his shirt. That was...
That's the benchmark is the T-shirt line.
Right. It screams for the, everybody's been calling it the Wenger offside.
Well, because that's who, Le Prof decided to suggest that.
And FIFA is seriously considering it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame them because you look You look at something like this and that's really
They should consider it.
That should have been a fucking goal.
How many times have we seen a goal ruled out for a fucking toenail?
Yeah. Like it's
for and against our clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happened a boatload of times. Or a knee.
Right.
As you're taking your first step, are you gaining an advantage from that? I don't really think so.
And then obviously Welbeck gets the winner late, but yeah,
that guy Welbs.
Yeah. Here's the other thing: if that game had gone to penalties, Isak had already gotten pulled because of not wanting to overplay him because of coming back from an injury, and then couple that with Gordon gets a red card. If that had gone to penalties, penalty takers number 1 and number 2 were already off the pitch. We're already off the fucking pitch. You don't do yourself any favors. Here again, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, now Brighton, all teams that are kind of in that European discussion, but they're also now all in the quarterfinals of the fucking FA Cup.
Yeah.
And again, the only team in here that's recently won a FA Cup is City. So it is there to be fucking had.
It's there for the taking.
Oh, and we'll get to the plays. Like City ain't got an easy game next in the fucking quarterfinals.
They sure don't.
What an absolute fucking dog shit performance from United. Let's take away the penalties, right? The 2 penalties. They didn't look inspired to win an FA Cup match in their own fucking building. Like, they showed nothing.
No.
They showed absolutely nothing.
We've come to expect that from them. It's Ruben Amorim has yet to waver from whatever footballing principles that he seems to hold. Even though he's got a collection of players that can't play in that style.
No.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Not sure what's holding them back other than their own mental capacity.
Yeah.
But he's trying to implement these ideas, and they're just not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And we continually fall into the trap of, it's Manchester United. They'll figure it out. But they're not.
No.
They're just not. I mean, Spurs have won 3 on the trot now, right? In the league.
Well, no, they just lost to City.
We're talking about the FA Cup. Well, okay, yeah, prior to City, I think they won 3 in a row.
Yeah, they had won 3 in a row.
But United don't look anywhere close to that, and they've got Arsenal coming up here shortly.
Yeah, yeah.
Next, I think, in the league.
Exactly.
I don't see it getting better. I'm not sure. The discipline's weird. You've had Fernandez got sent off a couple times this season. You've gotten other players get red cards for terrible tackles, and they look genuinely surprised every time it happens. Bruno Fernandez's ego must be the most untouchable thing on the planet at the moment, because he looks angry every time something goes wrong.
Right.
But everything's going wrong all the time.
But he also seems to be the only one really fucking trying.
Yeah, but aren't you used to it by now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shouldn't you just, kind of try to jeer your team up and, come on, guys, get back together? He looks genuinely annoyed. Like, I can't believe we've done this. Really? This is what you've shown. Yeah. This is who you are. Here's the one that I scratched my head at, and it, other than this is Amarin's hubris, is your number 4 kicker ends up being Lindelof. It's a weird choice.
When you have Garnacho on the pitch.
Such a weird choice.
Other than Amarin really doesn't like Garnacho, because there's been that rumor that he's been leaking and stuff like that. That he really doesn't like him, and he doesn't want to play him, but I
heard a conspiracy theory the other day that they think somebody that's sending the emails accidentally has a journalist in the group when he selects the all United staff.
Oh yeah,
button on his Outlook.
Yeah, I like that.
There might be a journalist that he's accidentally included. Yeah. So we're threatening everyone's jobs because you're leaking shit, but it's actually him that's leaking shit.
Right, you're the
by
one
mistake.
Leaking it.
Yeah.
So it just...
I like that.
It's truly pathetic.
Oh, it's bad.
But again, Fulham, a team battling for Europe, now in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup.
But also, again, playing down to their opponents.
Yeah.
Fulham should have gone on to win this match in regular time.
Yeah, they probably should have.
And didn't.
Yeah.
They spent extra time not really pushing.
Yeah.
You relied on, again, a very cool finish from Anthony Robinson. Third or fourth taker at that point. But you relied on Bird Leno, who is not a good penalty stopping goalkeeper.
No.
Doesn't have a great record, and saved 2 of them, which is, again, more damning for United.
Yeah.
It's just like, this guy's not good at this, and you made him look like a fucking hero.
Xerxes looked like he missed it before he even took it.
Oh, yeah. Matt Doherty did the same thing in Wolves game. When they were walking up, I didn't feel any sort of confidence that they were going to hit this.
Right.
There's you have that aura about you, right? You have that confidence. And that kind of way you carry yourself matters. And when you walk up like that, the way all of those players did we just mentioned, it does nothing but serve the goalkeeper.
Right. Yeah.
In that situation, right? That goalkeeper goes, this guy's not ready. I got one up on him.
All I gotta do is watch where I think he's going, and if I guessed right, if I think I picked where his hips were moving to, I'm gonna save this because he ain't gonna put any fucking power behind it.
And none of them did.
No.
None of them did.
Finally, Forest and Ipswich, an absolutely boring as shit first half.
Tear my eyes out.
And then a fucking fantastic second half. An absolutely great second half.
There was like a shot from somebody that I think Sells may have tipped over the bar or something.
Yep.
In like the 46th or 47th minute, 48th minute,
Right
something like that.
Halftime.
Yeah.
Yep.
That kind of just sprung the game into life.
Just boom.
Yeah.
It was.
Made it exciting. Oh shit, we're playing football today.
Yeah.
And they, both teams obliged.
And then penalties, because really this is what the game was. It was nothing in the first half, a really exciting second half, nothing in extra time because they were both clearly playing for penalties. And then the penalties were, when you talk about how a penalty shootout should go, this is exactly how it goes. Every fucking person, all 5 of Nottingham Forest and the first 4 of Ipswich, it didn't even matter if the keeper picked it the right way. They weren't fucking saving them because they were perfectly fucking hit. There was a couple to Mel, and she was like, ooh, he guessed her. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah.
And then when you look at the replay, you see him guess right, and you see as he guesses right, the ball is already behind him and in the back of the net because they were just hit
that hard.
Fucking perfect. And it comes down to their young Starlet Taylor coming up to take the 5th kick and just gets it wrong. Sells makes the save. Boom. Game, set, match. You're like, that's like the most perfect penalty shootout ever. Like there's no real mistakes, right? Because the one kid, it's like a shit ton of pressure is put on the kid. It's like he got up, he gave it a good go. It wasn't a terrible shot, but Sells picked right, and that's it. It's over.
The other thing Forrest can take from this that's a massive, massive positive is they made, I think, 8 changes from the team that played midweek. Mm-hmm. Obviously, squad rotation is very important with all these games piling. But with Forrest specifically, they've been operating on such a kind of shoestring situation due to injury over the course of the season, and they still find themselves in 3rd place. Mm-hmm. A sustained cup run at this point, as people are starting to get healthy again, in their starting lineup, and not necessarily their starting lineup, more in their reserves. Right. But people that could come on and change a game, right? Because they've been quite thin. They've been dressing literal children.
Right.
Most of the time. It's a huge positive for them, in my opinion. This cup run.
Yeah, agreed.
We say a lot of times that a cup run could derail you or it could make your entire season, and that's what they're doing with this. Is they're where Villa, for instance, they're focusing so much on the one competition that their league form, everyone's exhausted and they can't exactly pick themselves up for it. Forest seem to be striking that balance in general. I know they've wavered a little bit in the league so far, but they've been in multiple competitions all season. Right. And they've done well for the most part, right? They make 8 changes. They still get through the tie. I think that's a huge boost for them. And I think it puts pressure on the people that regularly start. Those 8 changes are now thinking, oh, fuck. This guy might take my spot. They gave a good account of himself, and that just breeds a level of pushing each other, and that's excellent and bodes well for them.
God forbid, go finish in 4th place and win an FA Cup. What does that say for your fucking supporters?
Yeah, come on, you can't beat that.
That's winning it all. That's winning it all to them. Like that's
would
massive.
Give my left testicle for that right now.
Yeah, precisely. All right, so this is going to be parting words, Sam. We're going to go ahead and go over what the quarterfinals
I don't really have any other parting words anyway.
The quarterfinals, we see a London derby with Fulham and Crystal Palace. Preston North End are going to be hosting Aston Villa. Manchester City got to go to Bournemouth.
At Bournemouth, yeah.
Where they've lost already. And Brighton and Forest play down in the South Coast at Brighton.
Real quick, I think Fulham might figure it out and beat a team they should be beating.
Right.
In that draw.
Avenge them for the loss they had just a few weeks ago.
I think Villa is probably the biggest scare point of this draw. Obviously, Bournemouth are having a great season. City are having a shit season. You've got what you would probably call, just based on form, a fairly even match.
Yeah,
in them, right?
Agreed.
I could see either one of them going through with no real question. You go back to Preston and Villa. Preston have put a lot into this FA Cup this season, and Villa are focused on other things.
Yeah.
League form especially. Oh, yeah. League form especially. They need to finish in European places. They have to finish in European places. Ideally, they need a second run of the Champions League. It ups the finances. It does so much. Doing 2-3 seasons in a row in a competition like that is going to pay you another 140 million quid.
Yep.
So you can go buy that supplementing piece for 60 million, because that's what a backup costs nowadays.
Exactly.
They have to have those things, and winning the FA Cup I don't think is necessarily on their radar at the moment.
Right.
They have a very manageable tie in the Champions League as well with Club Brugge.
Yeah.
From Belgium. So they do have a chance to get to a quarterfinal.
Yeah, of the Champions League.
Which is another 50 million in the bank, right? It's not a Carabao Cup win. You know, when you win the whole trophy, you get 150,000.
Right.
This is real fucking money we're talking about.
Right.
It's
Precisely.
a big deal.
Precisely.
So I think Villa may be focused on other things, and I think that may be the upset of the FA Cup. Bournemouth City, again, you can't really pick between them at the moment, so and nothing would surprise me. And Brighton Forest is interesting. I think Brighton probably being obviously minus the last 5 games, Brighton have a situation where even if they win out, they may still find themselves the outside boys.
Yeah. So winning the FA Cup.
This is a huge chance.
Yeah.
And they're on a very recent, rich vein of form. Yeah. And Forest have kind of dipped here. So I think Brighton could come through this, and we could have a very, very interesting semifinal round.
I think one thing we can all universally agree on is we just don't want to see City advance.
No,
to the
fuck
semis.
City. Yeah, no.
Everything else, we're happy. And obviously, Mel wants to see Villa advance as well. But everything else, I think we're perfectly fine with.
I don't even care if City make the semis.
Just don't make the final.
Just don't win. Yeah, just don't win it. I don't even care if they make the final. Fine. Just don't win it.
Don't win it. Somebody else win it. Please, somebody else win it. And it seems poised that for once, it could be somebody that's not a Big Six side winning this thing. That'd be the first time since Wigan did it.
Another very funny stat, because it just seems like people go, find me something to say about Manchester United. This is the earliest that a holder has gone out of the FA Cup since 1997.
Okay.
Sounds like one of them baseball stats.
Yeah.
At a night game on a Tuesday, when he's wearing Hanes, he bats 350.
Right.
But when he's wearing Fruit of the Loom, he bats 175.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's one of them weird stats.
Yeah.
You just made it up. It just doesn't matter.
Alrighty, everybody. Next up is injury time. We're going to talk about the beers we were drinking, check in on our fantasy teams, and of course, discuss the weekend's action. Should somebody want to support the show, Mr. Graham, how do they go about doing that?
Patreon.com/D Football Show. Just sign up to that $1 $5 tier. You get all the extra content.
Till next week, everybody.
Good night.